What up, though? The following segment, A Minivan Musician, has been created solely with the hopes that our community, mainly those within the hip hop culture, can see a side of what is happening in our country right now that we believe is not being covered enough by our media or public officials. Therefore, our podcast this week is made in the spirit and logic of educating and enriching the people, our people, who are going to be most affected by the impending disaster that is going to be caused by the lockdowns of COVID-19. We hope that none of our views or statements are found to be offensive by any of our viewers. If they are taken that way, I would urge the viewer to leave the episode, return after some time, and reevaluate what we said. All of our prayers and many of our hopes are truly with those who are suffering with loss of life and health of themselves or loved ones during this dark time. Our intention is simply to focus some attention on the victims to come and hopefully open up a discussion that could lead to their number being reduced. We understand how sensitive individuals are regarding the subject, and we're going to try our absolute best to keep that in mind at all turns of the conversation. Just please know that our hearts are in the right place in this discussion and that your feedback is always welcome. Our aim is to talk with you, not simply to you. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it.
I'm a Minivan musician.
As long as I can make a sound, my artistry will be around. Long after I'm in the ground and one person feels what I said, I have purpose.
Minivan Musician, episode 22.
Yeah. Getting all serious this time around. No, it is important, so I'll just get to it. I just feel like there's a real, not even feel like, it's fact that there's going to be a real financial crisis. And you hear those words, you hear it all the time. I mean, it feels like we was just in recession a couple years ago. The answer is, we've been through that, no big deal. But you got to really picture it, and you have to realize that the people that's being affected the most by it is our community. It's mostly, middle to lower class individuals, mostly urban areas that are always affected the worst when it comes to a recession or a depression or any financial crisis. God, every time it seems like it does more than just cause us problems financially and cause the next generation or two to have screwed up backgrounds because of it, but new laws get imposed and stuff like that. Every time you can look back through history. I basically study history and I'm a nerd for that. So I'm seeing a lot of patterns and I'm kind of seeing what's coming from this. And I've been, looking into a lot of different publications input on this. And, there's a problem with us in a way. It almost seems like those of us that just go to a job and make our money or even that hustle, whatever, are kind of like, well, they'll figure that shit out. I'm still gonna make my money every week. I'm gonna take care of my family. They'll figure that shit out. I don't have stocks. I don't have holdings. I don't have different properties and stuff like that. That don't affect me. Which is basically saying, those who are above us will make sure that it's better for us.
Have they ever?
No. And you got to realize it's our money that this stuff's done with anyway. But no, there are times where there's really no coming back from. And like I said in the intro, I'm not trying to minimize what this is doing health-wise to people. The coronavirus is a real thing. We've never denied that. In fact, we believe we had it in our home and it was terrible. And it is killing people. But we'll get to that.
Not as many people as they say, though.
No, we'll get to that as we go, but that's not even the issue here. It's more about what's definitely going to happen. As of right now, we are at the same level as the recession as far as what 2020's GDP is going to be. The gross domestic product. That's basically everything the United States is worth. We'll just look at it that way. We're already at the level we were in the recession. So that's not even a question. We're only so far into this.
Mm-hmm.
As of April 1st, the way people responded, the way Americans responded, and it's mostly people who would be a part of our community. A lot of us rent. 30% of people who rent in the United States did not pay rent for that month. And that was before things got really bad. Who knows what it is this month? That's $200 billion. Think about what you can do with $200 billion. The way that I always try to get people's minds to wrap around it is a billion is 1,000 millions. You'd have to make $1 million 1,000 times to make a billion. So now multiply that by 200. I'm not even, So $200 billion, practically enough to start a small country. That's just what wasn't paid in rent. Now, mind you, that's money that's going to have to be paid if you got nowhere to live. But anyways, 46% of small businesses report that they will close down before the year is over, with about 2/3 of them saying that they're going to close down in 3 to 5 months. Basically, they're clearing out inventory low-key, whatever they're allowed to do. 46% of small businesses. Mm-hmm. And as I was saying about it affecting us, there's a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs in our demographic. Well, 46% or more of them will close their businesses this year. Half of them. Basically half of them. That's 7.5 million businesses. Mm-hmm. That's 150,000 businesses per state. Break it down that way. So Michigan's slightly above average size. So let's say 200,000 businesses will close down in Michigan alone. And remember that southeastern Michigan is affected the most by this.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Disproportionate is what it's going to be. I would venture to say close to 3/4 of small businesses will shut down. And when I say 7.5 million businesses, how many people are employed on average by each one? At least 5. So you're talking 37.5 million people out of work. 30% of Americans didn't pay a car payment last month. I'm not even going to get into repo and how people are going to be losing jobs once this lifts and things of that nature. But just kind of in your mind, just picture how much money that is. 1.3 million people didn't get unemployment in Michigan alone.
Yeah, there's people that are still fighting for it. We just had that conversation with Louie the other day.
Yeah. How many people are in Detroit now? Like 6. There's about 600,000. Basically, double the population of Detroit has not gotten unemployment yet after basically 2 months in Michigan. Like I said, we're basically in a recession now, but here's something really scary. Here's some numbers that will hopefully get people to realize the focus that the media and the government is not forming us to have. That we're living in fear and we're arguing with each other about shutdowns and fucking face masks and all this stupid shit, which, if the face mask is the end all be all and keeping you from giving the virus to people, why don't we open back up and everybody has to wear a face mask? But that's beside the point. In the recession, the unemployment rate was 10%. In the depression, it was 26%. Right now, it's 25%. We are literally at Great Depression unemployment levels. And the rate of suicide goes up exponentially in times of economic distress.
Yeah, poverty is one of the leading causes of that.
Yeah, it's in fact, I think it is the leading cause of that. The number of suicides that are attributed specifically to the recession, the Great Recession, which is nothing compared to what it looks like we're going to go into, was 110,000 between the United States, Canada, and Europe. So 110,000 people killed themselves over something lesser than what we're entering into. And, basically the 3 most developed nations, or 2 of the 3.
Not to mention the world's mental health as a whole is pretty far worse than it was then.
It is. And that's something I definitely want to get into as far as what is missing right now. Because a lot of people are saying, well, stay home. You got your entertainment at home. You're going to get your unemployment check. Well, 50% of you will. You're going to get your stimulus. Yeah, well, unless you owe child support or, several other reasons you won't get it. But they're saying, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal, aside from the businesses closing, aside from nobody paying bills, and aside from what all of that represents, is there's a lot of things that are missing out. Meaning, I have to go to a mental health facility for some trouble I got into, and
your mental health also.
yeah, but it doesn't really help with that. That's why I don't. The place sucks, but
I know, but it's better.
I'm not gonna say what place it is now. I was gonna say it, so it had some validity, and people could call and see that it's not open. In the downriver area, at least, and they have their satellite. They're all the same network for Detroit, like Ann Arbor area, all southeastern Michigan.
Yeah,
they're closed. The one I go to serves about 5,000 people. Most of these people, unless they've been ordered there, for being in trouble or whatever, most of these people are very mentally ill. There's a lot of people there that are schizophrenic, they're hallucinating, they've tried suicide many times. These people aren't getting their proper care because of COVID, because of the lockdown, because of shut the whole fucking thing down. And you may say, oh, well, they can do it over the phone and prescriptions are called in. A doctor needs to see a patient face to face.
Yeah.
It's actually extremely illegal to even so much as diagnose somebody without meeting with them face to face for X amount of hours. I don't remember the amount of hours. I'm not an expert on that, but it's a lot of clinical hours.
Yeah.
So you can't actually treat mental health over the phone. So what's happening is, and I can attest to this, they're just calling in refills. Well, with mental health, as with a lot of things, but specifically mental health, you're constantly having your meds adjusted. You're having them changed. There's side effects that the mentally ill can't relay to the doctor because they don't even realize anything's wrong. The doctor has to meet them in person, kind of look at their body language, listening to what they're saying, a
lot of it even comes down to blood work. They have to do blood work.
Yeah, we are supposed to get blood work every other month. At least for me, and some people maybe more often. They have to make sure you're taking your meds. You're right.
And the levels and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what
they
all
even
goes
gave me a
into
DNA test to see which meds would work best for me.
Yeah.
And I haven't been prescribed those meds because I haven't been there because of COVID. I'm worried that our entire community is going to be impacted in a way that we don't recover from for, I don't know, a generation or two.
And all of us have kids for the most part. We're not like real super young people. We all got kids, and a lot of people I see are expecting kids and whatnot too. And this is gonna affect them a lot. And if you think that, oh well, it's just like the next couple months, or it's just this last month, or it's only a few weeks or whatever, it's like, well, then you need to just I don't even know what you need to do, but you need to wake up a little bit because you need to think of the big picture more.
Well, that was one of the next things I was coming to is education is significant.
Absolutely.
And I've heard every excuse from every parent who's got kids of every age. Oh, my son's so young, they don't really learn anything. Oh, my son's about to finish high school. Basically, he's just going through the motions. Oh, insert stupid excuse here. It's not just they're learning things, and our education system is terrible. So to make something terrible more terrible is idiotic if you can prevent it. But you're also, the whole point of school in the structured manner that it exists is for kids to learn how to interact with other kids.
And to learn how to interact with people in general, because in the world, in the workplace, you have to do that.
Exactly.
Whether you
as far as more kids being home, well, the rates of child abuse have already been reported to go up. And in any situation like this, they do. It's just fact. But now they're stuck at home with their abuser all the time. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. I haven't even gotten into starvation. And I know, schools are doing this, the government's doing that, blah,
they can
blah,
only
blah.
do so much.
You're also going to get malnutrition. I'm not saying everybody's going to, drop dead from not eating, but a lot of these kids are going to get malnutrition.
A lot of them already had it to begin with.
Well, yeah.
And then it's like, this is going to get so much worse.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm saying is that I think that stimulus, that unemployment, that technology's got y'all way too fucking comfortable.
Yeah.
Way too
I
comfortable.
think these people are trying to protect you. You're fucking crazy. Wu-Tang will protect you first.
Yeah.
You should call them. Maybe they'll run to help you before you pressure the government.
And I mean, there was that right before this hit. There was that study that showed over 70% of Americans didn't have money saved to make it through 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
1 fucking month if a catastrophe happened. We're 2 months into this catastrophe.
Yeah, and we're talking like small catastrophes that they were talking about, like maybe a car repair or like, something, your house floods or like something that can be fixed.
Not a couple months with no income.
Not no job.
That wasn't what they were talking about.
Prospects of getting one again.
And then I mean, and God forbid you're somebody who did make it and you were making $80,000 a year. The fuck's that $1,200 going to do for you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's probably like your car payment and car insurance, especially in Michigan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll sum it up. What is this? Oh, the powers that be, the media, the government to some degree, depending on which government officials, what they're saying about some things medically is true, but they're really driving it home to control you.
Mm-hmm.
In urban environments, the main problems that people have with health are diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma. What is it that kills you if you have COVID?
Yeah, you can't breathe.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma. They know that you're going to take it to heart. They know they don't even got to worry about you. You're under control. What I'll say is this, like recap the little scribbly notes I had in here. Okay, as far as unemployment goes, we are at Great Depression levels. If you work for a small business, basically half of them are out of business. So 30% of people haven't made a car payment. 30% of people haven't made a rent payment. Our GDP is already where the recession was at, and it's not getting better. It's not going to improve. What fields of work are going to be most affected by this shutdown long term? Retail, service, unskilled trade, small business owners, entrepreneurs. Anybody feeling familiar? Y'all got to realize that when small businesses, when everyone was mad at Obama, the small businesses actually, more of them closed than opened 1 year, actually through his last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time it ever happened in the U.S. You're talking like literally a handful. You're talking a couple percent less closed than open. That was devastating to the middle class. We're talking half. We're talking millions. So I can't even put into any better words how bad this is, but half a year of school missed, everything that comes with that, probably thousands and thousands of more cases of child abuse, more cases of domestic abuse, more cases of sexual abuse, 110,000 suicides from the recession alone. This is much worse. No mental health care. Pregnant women aren't getting proper care. People who need knee replacements, things of that nature, they don't get it. You need a spinal fusion because you can't feel your legs. You can't get that. Need a kidney replacement. You're getting one. Hey, you ain't getting it. You're going to live with one. I mean, things that are considered elective, a lot of them are things that if you let them go another month, you can't undo the damage.
Mm-hmm.
You should be hearing as much. Okay, here's the lockdown, all right? This is our proposed answer to fixing COVID. All right, so they're presenting you as a problem. They're telling you what the only fix is. You've got a problem, a proposed solution. Okay, but see, that proposed solution is causing all kinds of other problems. So you have two problems, actually. People should be getting as much coverage of the economical disaster that's happening as they're getting of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't need it. We should be objective thinkers and be saying, well, wait a minute. The whole world's different. How's it being affected? But we don't do that. So you have COVID, economic disaster. When I'm getting 20 reports a day and I'm getting governors saying this, echoing the same shit, here's the amount of COVID cases today, here's the amount of deaths. I want that piggybacked with, here's the amount of jobs lost today, here's the amount of people who starved, here's the number of people who committed suicide as a direct result of COVID. If you don't have those numbers, just give me the numbers of jobs that have been lost. Give me the amount of money that didn't go into the economy that day. Then we weigh out between those two terrible problems what the course of action is.
Maybe people would actually, have the possibility or the thought of being able to come together more on things if they did that too, instead of completely painting it one side. Yeah.
Everyone, I've had so many people tell me, oh, all you care about is the money. We're talking about being able to fucking survive. And as much as we may hate the money, we're in a capitalistic society here. That's what makes the world go round. That's what keeps us healthy. I like food. I like shelter.
We have to have money to live. If you want to go live on a commune and whatnot, that's awesome. Do it, please.
Yeah, go be a hippie somewhere. That's fine.
I mean, that's great. I support you if you want to do it for real. I would like to.
Actually, don't sound that bad.
But
honestly,
right now it's not realistic for my life to do that.
Right.
It's not realistic for most people's. We have to live. We have to have money to live. And if I'm supposed to care so much about everybody that's dying, which obviously I do, especially if you fucking know me, then I have to care about myself and my family living. And that's fair. That's fair.
What I said in the intro is I said future victims of this COVID situation. What I mean by that is people who don't get their mental health care right and they kill themselves, or their quality of life is fucking shot for the rest of their life. Or they're getting abused at home, or God forbid, they get killed at home. They become worse of an alcoholic. Their liver fails because of it. Like, alcoholism is way up.
Liquor sales are fucking through the roof.
They go homeless, they lose their trade, they lose their business, and people say, oh, well, that's a business, that's not lives. Businesses affect lives, and a guy, if he worked fucking 20 years towards building something that provides for the community, it matters. That guy matters.
Yeah.
And his kids' lives matter. And so when I'm talking about the future victims, whenever something like this hits, you get a new drug.
Yeah, you think the drug epidemic
you get a new
is bad
fucking
now.
drug epidemic.
Just wait.
That's coming.
We're already in the worst epidemic we've ever had, and it's going to be 10 times
Theft
worse.
is going to be up big time because nobody's going to have no fucking money. Y'all remember the recession? The scammers came out the recession.
Oh, they're out heavy already.
The fucking the fentanyl and opioid overdoses came out the recession.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the streets are going to be fucking wild. I'm glad I'm not in the streets, but I'm like, 1 foot. It's like I'm waving a cab. I got 1 foot in the street
and one on a banana peel.
Right. So, I mean, all I'm saying is there's a side to all of this that you're not being given properly. Oh, and the entertainment shit is done.
Yeah, tell
Anybody
me
that
what
builds stages, works events, promotes events, is a performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what your favorite, movie is on this type of topic, because we've had how many of them in the last 20 years? And then go look up how much money they spent on making that particular movie. And then tell me how the fuck we have no better answers to this, but we spend millions and millions of dollars on making stupid-ass fucking movies on this dumb shit.
But, I mean, what y'all ain't even seeing, man, is that the movie studios, the record labels, the corporate entities are going to bounce back from this just fine.
Mm-hmm.
They have investments. A lot of us don't. We depend on our week-to-week or bi-weekly or even month-to-month situations, and they're gone. They're gone for a lot of us. So, and the other thing I should have added to this that's important, I'm unbiased in this. I've had my job the whole time. I haven't missed a paycheck. So, and some of it, I was working from home, so I got the same paycheck and didn't have to spend gas money going to work every day. Saved
So
about
you
60
would
bucks
think
a
would
week.
be like, hey, this is great, right?
Right. You'd think I would be one of the people that's like, all right, y'all, people are dying, stay in the house. Like I said, there's two major things right now. You are seeing people get sick. You know somebody who knows somebody, at least possibly, that died from this. You're seeing stuff on your screen all day pertaining to this illness. God, you know what it looks like in a microscope. You're not seeing what it's going to look like when this economic disaster happens. You're not seeing it. Just, I keep bringing up the recession, but just think of all them homes that got boarded up, all them people that got booted, all them people that ended up on dope, all them people that lost their dreams and had to sell dope or take some menial job or went to jail because they couldn't pay their child support or whatever the case may be, broke into a house to feed themselves, went to prison for several years. We are the ones who are affected by this. I know I'm going to hear the PPP thing as far as the paycheck thing for companies and supposed small business. 52% of companies didn't get PPP.
Yeah.
So more than half.
So quit fucking bitching about, oh, the federal relief fund, Well, it's not working.
You know what weird mentality comes into this that I'm realizing? This is like memetics. Like I said, I study a lot of history, and I also look a lot at trends and kind of, I guess you could say, sociology, like groupthink. The voices who have it good right now seem to be the loudest as far as the social media stuff. Like, yo, you know, getting the stimulus, getting the unemployment. Come on, guys, calm down and saving lives. So what? You can't go on a boat.
Stay inside and watch your Netflix.
Yeah, stay inside, watch your Netflix. You don't have to go do this or that. Okay, so it seems like they're the loudest. Well, a lot of those voices are people who are screwed right now because I just gave the percentages. You know they are. So the mindset, and I'm wondering if any of you are thinking like this, you feel like, yeah, you're screwed right now, but you're not going to be negative. You don't want to cause nobody to die. And your friend and your uncle and your girl, they're all good, so you just got screwed. Your boss is a dick. Your situation sucks. You didn't prepare properly. In other words, kind of blaming yourself, thinking, I'm the only one that's in this shitty situation. Everybody else is doing good, so I'm going to promote what they are. You know, nobody wants to say, I'm poor, I'm fucked over, when they feel like all the other voices are saying, we're doing good. Then you're a loser.
I hate that fake positive shit, too.
Right.
If it's not a positive situation, you do not have to be positive about it. Yes, you cannot be like, you know, doom and gloom and I'm going to die and kill myself type shit. But you don't have to be fake positive about something that is affecting you negatively.
But you have to be objective. You have to even take yourself out of it if you're struggling. You know, take all that out of it and just weigh out what you think. Picture what the United States will look like when 50% of small businesses close, when nearly half the people in the country don't pay rent, when all those fields are decimated, when the mentally ill are more mentally ill, when all these people kill themselves, when the health of everyone but COVID patients is fucking destroyed. Look at all of that, and then look at how many deaths and how much sickness comes from COVID. Weigh that out, decide a course of action. I see a lot of people who don't fit the mold of what they want to say the so-called freedom fighters are, finally speaking out, and I hope some of them see this video. They know that I'm kind of like a brother in beliefs. It's not two sides of an argument. It's two giant crises. And
it's all the same. It's all.
You can't ignore one and just serve the other. You can't do that.
Right.
And if the government keeps giving you money to pacify you through this, to keep things cool, you have to realize that that is coming out of our economy.
Yeah, where do you think
you're not earning anything for anyone
from?
When you're getting that?
Trump didn't just pull that out of Trump Towers to hand you, you know?
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess I'll close on that. I just wanted to get across to people that the hip-hop culture, the urban community, the lower middle class in the surrounding suburbs, and the poor rural communities, actually, are hit the absolute hardest in a situation like this. And there's really no coming back from it for a long time. Maybe before we do the flow face-off here and if you enlighten things up, maybe I'm going to go for a ride by myself, so I got to mask up. Seriously, people, we're not going to go into medical stuff here, but try to understand what the mask is for. Stop using it the wrong way and having the wrong implications from it. And stop with them cruddy gloves. We mentioned it before. If you can't keep, changing them as they get gross, don't do it. Don't use the fucking gloves.
Yeah, and you're all going to die from COVID from the pin pads at the stores, just saying.
And look at the fact that if you get shot today and you tested for positive while in the hospital or a week before, you're a COVID death. Heart attack, shooting. This is true. It's official. Our country decided to report it that way because you wouldn't have been able to fight off the injury if not for COVID. Sometimes that's true.
Rarely, though. It's a small amount.
So just weigh things out, people. Consider the fact that we are already in a complete recession, and look at how long it came for us to get the hell out of the one from 2007. That was 13 years ago, and people still talking about, I haven't recovered from that. I lost the house, I lost this, I lost that. Well, we're already there.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening now. That's fucking sad. We just got out of it. Do we ever stay out of it? Our people are hit the worst and realize that we are heading toward Great Depression levels. And on that note, I say peace.
It's full face off.
Yep, and it's the first round of the tournament structure, and I'm going to have the 64 MCs and the tiers that they're in the description. So we have 3 returning. I'm actually one of them. Lloyd Banks is another, and TUPAC is another. That's an eclectic mix right there. So, yeah, people, we got the air conditioning on.
Yeah, it's warm. Woo.
That's, man.
I'm sweating.
Thank God for that. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think we needed that as relief. But we're going to have some fun with this one. Let's go into the first round. And let's get this elimination shit going. I know it feels like I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Chinchilla ice on with a fitted. Everybody talk money. Everybody gone with it. With that bowl of bread smaller than the arm of a midget. And you know I'm doing my thing, it's blue in the ring. If you had it like this, you probably do it the same. But you won't, because you broke, all you do is complain. After the club, I'm going to put a few of them in the range.
4.
I actually thought that verse was kind of
Sorry.
It's decent. For its era, This is the 2003 to 2005 era. We're sticking with the same era. Okay, so that last one was 2005. This 2003. This is kind of like that punchline mixtape era that I love. Going to war is still a scary issue, but in my hood they train to kill with every pistol like the military issue. Guess you a star if you sell 1 million every disc too. Catch a gun case and bounce and still to barely frisk you. Cause I proved I moved to retail, make the smoothest grooves with females, and I removed the rules on B12s. You ain't never seen it move this smooth on spree wells. I'm a hustler, you just a middleman to me. The way I pass the rock could make Jason Kidd a fan of me. Just cop one joint, I'ma point something. Still I have you at gunpoint with one joint dumping. So watch what you say to them crackers. I put a couple G's on your head like you played for the Packers. I'm raps with LeBron James, I quickly see baskets. These scrubs wouldn't make it to the Mickey D's classics. You got some sticky weed, pass it. If not, put it out. I'm pushing it before they put it out. With that dash, wood it out. Shaq O'Neal, foot it out. Blasting a get it first before they put it out.
I'm a sucker for the basketball references.
They were good. And the Green Bay Packers one was
and
good,
yeah,
too.
the Packers one was good too.
A couple G's on your head.
Give that a 5.
I was hoping you picked that verse. Both of those I did to 16 instead of the 12 I've been doing. I just left the names out of it. The first one was Lloyd Banks from the Touch It remix.
I knew it.
With Busta, Missy,
Yeah.
Rodriguez, Mary J. Blige was on that. The second one was Fabulous with BK Style. You hear his word, like
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't pick it. I tried so hard not to do it like he does it.
I like Fab.
All right, so we got Fabulous beating Lloyd Banks. He moves on in round 1. Okay, so this next one, the lyrics are a little deeper, a little bit more meaningful. You'll probably know them. No fairy tales for this young black male. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail, and crack sales. Hustlers hardly think of culture or the repercussions while busting on backstabbing vultures. Selling my soul for material wishes, fast cars and bitches, wishing I lived my life a legend immortalized in pictures. Why shed tears, save your sympathy? My childhood years were spent burying my peers in the cemetery. Here's a message to the newborns waiting to breathe. If you believe, then you can achieve. Just look at me.
5.
What's it from?
I can't remember.
I know you know it.
I know it.
I tried to do it faster, so
I know I was like singing the words too, and I can't remember what the fuck
see who the
song
next
it
one is. We used to fight for building blocks. Now we fight for blocks with buildings that make a killing. The closest to friends when we first started, but grew apart as the money grew and soon grew black-hearted. Thinking back when we first learned to use rubbers, he never learned, so in turn I'm kidnapping his baby's mother. My hand around her collar, feeding her cheese. She said the taste of dollars was shitty, so I fed her 50s. About his whereabouts, I wasn't convinced, so I kept feeding her money till her shit started to make sense. Who could ever foresee? We used to stay up all night at slumber parties. Now I'm trying to rock this bitch to sleep. All the years we were real close. Now I see his fears through her tears. Know she's wishing we were still close. Don't cry, it is to be. In time, I'll take away your miseries and make them mine. Song title. I can't say it.
3.5.
3.5?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's literally in the top 30 verses ever rapped.
What song is that?
That's The Evils by Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people's favorite lyrical.
It's not bad.
It's meaningful, but at the same time, he flips that.
What I'm crazy about.
Feeding her cheese. It takes $1.50 was shitty, so I fed her 50s. Like, that shit is ill. And then he goes back to her shit started to make sense. I could feed her money. Like, that's ill. So, I mean, he talks about how it starts with this and it ends up that.
I get it. I just hate those kind of references. I hate when Wayne does it. I hate that shit.
No, this was a 90.
I know, but I don't like it. I've always hated it.
All right, Tupac's moving on and jig us out.
Yeah, we knew Tupac was moving on.
We each get a wild card during this tournament. And I will also allow 2 wild cards from people who watch the show, from viewers. Like, to bring an MC back from the dead. Or to add one that's not there. We each get 2. You know. Well, we each get 1, and then the fans get 2. Okay. So, we got Tupac moving on. And by the way, his verse was from Smile.
I knew it. Okay.
So, next up. I'm close to Christ, but far from Saw. I chose the mic to keep a loaded Moss. You want that smoke? Well, I'ma kick to the beat. Leave your body imprinted with the Timberland tree. I'm telling y'all, these rappers only tough in the booth. Swallowing seeds to their insides. Motherfuckers is fruits. Earned my stripes long ago, so I got nothing to prove. Polygraph strapped to my dick. I always come with the truth. My words so hard, I spit them and my teeth break. But I live it, you can get it to the limit with the 3-8. Yeah, I keep a couple guns, maybe a few to find you. They gon' need a boat and some motherfucking scuba divers. Get up close, your chances of survival are not great. Leave your ass hacked up as Megan Fox face. Like my OG said, enough with the threats, fuck. After all, putting it in the air ain't nothing but a heads up.
5.
Damn. Throwing them 5s out today. Almost like you would now. Alright, so next up.
We're riding the 5 today.
Okay. So mama toasted glass while I'm counting my cash. Cause every single is a smash. I'm hot as a camel's ass. The competition just never want to admit that they lost. And that they last about as long as my part in the wash. From your car to crap game, no one rolls with you. One of my mini-me's shoes got more soul than you. So by the time you figure out why your record ain't spinning, I'm in the strip club smoking with President Clinton. So stay off the long sideburns and gold teeth that make the mold of the penis and larger off me. I'll be in another one, I hit it from the back, not to mention my refrigerator is taller than Shaq. So yippee-ki-yay-yi-yo, if you can't swim, don't smoke my hydro. I've been looking for a woman just to put my stamp on, but a lot of y'all are more stuck up than tampons.
3.
You know why that shit's whack?
Why?
It's Luda, who's good with punchlines, but like, you know, a lot of times punchlines get played out because what you're referencing gets old. That's why like a lot of us don't fuck with punchlines too much anymore, because you make a punchline about a TV show or something that's a big thing, and it's not by the time the song drops or whatever. But he's a punchline guy, though. He was like the guy for a minute there. Like his whole shit was punchlines.
I like Luda, and his delivery, like in his voice on like that track, would be like, oh, okay, this isn't that bad because it's Luda. It's like this, and I like the way he raps, and it's like you can rap along with it and whatever. But
he sells it with the delivery
lyrical
sometimes.
content,
the punchline ain't that good. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think he's dope most of the time. But what I was saying, why this is whack, he's the punchline guy. That's what he's good at. This song's called Hip Hop Quotables. He should have saved his best for this fucking song.
Yeah.
That other verse was me, and it's 50-50 throwaway. It was for a Double Jep song over Can't You Hear Me Knocking, the Rolling Stone shit.
Right.
Close to Christ,
the
far from
fucking,
soft.
yeah, and the damn Megan Fox reference I should have known.
No, but anyway, like that was, you know, when you give it, that's where this is good for me as an artist. When you give such good ratings of stuff that I wrote and set aside, once again, this was something, the only thing I had to take a picture of. So I took a picture of it. Except the verses that I've dropped in the last couple weeks that she knows.
Yeah.
So I get to move on. Hot gets to move on. Fab gets to move on. I'm already wanting to use my pass, or whatever you call it, to keep Jigga in there.
Yeah, I know you do. Cause it's his favorite.
I didn't do the tiers. Like, honestly, Pac and Jigga shouldn't have been head-to-head on this. But since I hadn't showed people the tiers, I wasn't going to operate it that way. It wouldn't have been as good of an episode. But yeah, so we got Fab, Pac, myself moving on. Who knows if I'll even have a fucking verse to contribute.
I can't wait to knock you out of this shit.
I thought I was going to get knocked out this week.
I can't wait.
Because, like, even though, like, I do think my verse was better than this Luda verse, his shit was, like, constant punchlines. So even if you didn't like one, you're going to like the next one. You know, it's going to make you laugh. But, yeah, a lot of them came up short, though. I like the whole Mini-Me's shoes got more soul.
Yeah, that was, like, the only one I really, like, stuck out to me.
The refrigerator taller than Shaq thing is stupid.
I know, what the fuck is, who gives a fuck about your refrigerator?
Well, like you said, sometimes the way he says it.
Well, it is,
y'all jealous because my crib got an elevator in it.
It's his delivery, the way his voice and his, like, deep fucking, it's his delivery.
So, that is the end of the Flow Face-Off. And since I know we talked a lot about COVID, we took up a lot of y'all time, I guess we're just going to leave it at that. I've got a little message I want to say to some artists in my state that this was a part of another episode. And because of sickness in the home at the time, it didn't get added. But it's getting added tonight. Some people take it as some asshole shit. Some people get behind it. But shout out to the new fans and the new subscribers, the fans of the music and the subscribers to the channel that I've been lucky enough to get this week. And shout out to anybody who's keeping an open mind during this situation and who's, you know, being positive as a way to cope. You know, getting things accomplished, you know, that sort of thing, you know, getting closer with your family, all that kind of stuff. We try to keep with the positive end of it. It's just that I personally feel like I have to speak out about certain things.
You have to be realistic as well. You can be positive and realistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to express your concerns and because they're real.
Yeah.
It's not just bullshit. It's not like we're like, oh, fuck you guys who want to stay inside and fuck you people. No, man. Like, I actually give a shit about all of us as a whole, whether I hate you or not. Like,
I'm back to work now. My boss is cool. Like, I could probably still collect a paycheck now and not be at work and be fishing more and be making more music. That's my passion. Honestly, inside of me right now, like that part of you that's like a kid where you get emotionally behind stuff without thinking it through. You're like, yeah, you know, like impulsive. That part of me right now is going, oh man, argue for the other side. Keep the shutdown. Stay home, fish, play with the kid, fucking make music. But then I'm like, shit, man. Like, there's repercussions to that shit.
And
Just like
then
anything else
what?
impulsive.
You skip enough school, right, when you're a kid. Remember skipping school when you were a kid so much, and then all of a sudden it's like you gotta go back one day and like you can't do anything. Suddenly you can't make up your credits. And now what are you gonna do? You can't fucking graduate. You're fucked. You gotta be held back.
Oh yeah,
like,
we didn't even get into
that
the stuff
shit
that's
sucked.
fun that people are missing out
That
on, like
shit
graduation.
Sucked, right? Yeah, like imagine, you know, doing that in adult life with real life.
God, the way funerals and stuff look right now, it's like depressing. Makes you think we should be walking around with them things.
A very, very, very dear friend of mine just passed away. And it wasn't from COVID, or drugs, or suicide, or murder either. He
sometimes people die of other things.
Yeah, he had really bad. He had kidney failure. He's been that's been a problem for him for quite a while. And hi, Micah. Hold on, we're almost done. I know my kids.
If you're a barber in the Metro Detroit area,
call us, please, God.
I don't, as far as I know, I don't have this shit. You know what I mean?
But
I won't breathe anywhere. I'll hold my breath the whole fucking time. Please, God. Anyway,
I feel so bad for Nate's, for his God, it breaks my heart for his situation with you know, his funeral. They can't have one. They can have 10 people in there at a time or whatever. It's like only immediate family. I mean, and this guy was like a big deal to a lot of people, for his performance as Bender from Futurama and stuff. It was a big deal. A lot of people know him in Grand Rapids and in Detroit. In the music community, he's a big deal, and it sucks because I know there's a lot of people that would like to pay their respects to him. He was a great person, so that makes me sad for them.
Yeah, and you would hear people say, well, 10 at a time, you know, we still get it done. It still happens. It's not in the way you guys want, but think about it. 10 at a time, it drags it out time-wise. If there's 200 people that want to see him, they're not going to.
Most people aren't going to go anyway.
So, yeah, they don't go.
They can't.
They're like, you know, I'm not going to impose and be one of the people that
demands to see him. Yeah.
I'm going to make sure the family does. I'm going to stay home.
That's sad.
And, you know, that's a sacrifice that we're making for the health of other people right now. But like I said, you got to weigh it out and decide if that's a part of a million other things that are justifiably changed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, enough about the whole COVID thing. Like I said, a little message for some cats at the end of this. And also, I'm going to start tracking my personal fitness next week. So that should be interesting. I'm even going to eventually show y'all the before pictures. I have something after maybe. But yeah, I'm going to give y'all the measurements, the weight, all that stuff, tell y'all what I'm doing. I used to be really into this shit, and I was kind of, you know, I did some personal training for people, and it's been hard as hell to get back into it, but I do know what I'm doing, and if it works this time around at this age, I'll share some shit with y'all. If it doesn't really work, I'm not going to waste your time and give you some shit that don't work. One thing I wanted to say at the end of this, if you're from Michigan, not even just Detroit, Michigan, and you know of my existence, and you ain't supporting what I'm doing, and you want some street hop, lyrical, boom bap stuff, if you're not supporting me, I'm starting to see it as some sort of fear, some sort of intimidation, competitive shit, because we was talking off camera where there's a lot of dudes that's doing something in line with what I do, and my first instinct is to share the hell out of their music, spread the word for them, because we're doing similar stuff. It's like we basically in a war with garbage hip-hop. We doing, you know, more true school shit, whatever terminology you want to use. So I want to share it because I want to see that type of music shine. You know what I mean? And I don't share it because I'm like, damn, this cat, I've given him shout outs and all of this type of thing. And he don't share my shit. He don't shout me out. He don't give feedback on what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I'm not the most social, gracious person either. It's crazy that I'm the one thinking, yo, I'm gonna help spread the word for this guy. But anyway, all I'm saying, man, is that I see it. I see all of it. You know what I mean? Just like I see y'all that do support. Some of y'all don't need to. Some of y'all, I'm not even, you know, my subgenre, my style, whatever, is not even, you know, something that you usually fuck with. but you recognize the work ethic, you know what I'm saying, and the respect for Detroit music going forward that I try to exude, you know, and y'all support, and I see that, and I feel it, and I thank you for that. But I've said it before, man, it's crazy when you got cats in Serbia and shit, like really pumping your music and telling people about it, like, yo, this dude's dope. Meanwhile, guys in your city that do something similar to you, that even behind closed doors or, you know, off camera or off social media would tell you the nicest or whatever, you know, and you can't get a post like from them. Yo, anybody out there dealing with something like this, it means they're afraid of you. Period. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's unfortunate too, because I think that there's enough fans, enough people out here for all of us to eat. You know what I mean? But hey, pettiness. It is what it is. But that's just a little declaration I wanted to make. Can't wait to see y'all next week. The flow face off to us is getting to be more fun every week, and we got some more surprises in store for you. Peace.